is the Joy Taylor firing and some reactions behind it. So before I pull up this video, MC, were you surprised that she was fired? And also, were you surprised how quickly it was?
How quickly it was, yes, I was surprised. But was I surprised she was let go? No. She's kind of proven herself to be a liability at this point. At least if you're Fox
Facts.
Sports, she is. So
Here's
yeah, yeah. And I mean this. We talked about her previously when we were talking about when this scandal all came out. She was caught saying if she got caught doing anything wrong, she would just lean on Me Too to get and use public sympathy to get out of it. So
Yeah.
I don't have any respect for women who abuse their feminine power. I just don't.
Yeah. I gotta say for me, I was actually surprised that they did fire her because at this point it was all hearsay. And so I was like, well, when it comes to hearsaying women, it generally goes to the woman. But I forgot that the lawsuit came from a woman. So that canceled it out. And so I believe that's why she got fired. But in addition to that, though, the amount of simps that came to Joy Taylor's defense, now y'all motherfuckers unemployed. Emmanuel Acho, especially Emmanuel Acho. Like that dude is a what I've learned when you do a lot of this social media stuff, when you start doing podcasts, you start seeing people who are really here just to educate and entertain, and then the people are they getting paid to entertain people or just to say whatever. Because Emmanuel Acho is one of those people. He's just paid to try to big up Joy Taylor. And the story that people don't really talk about is how Joy Taylor and Emmanuel, this is all alleged because I have no proof, other from what Marcellus Wiley said. Marcellus Wiley said they ousted him, they pushed him out of his own gig. So, maybe that's his, what do you call it? Revenge, or there's a better saying when it comes to revenge. But this is I was a bit surprised that they fired her so quickly and that she was fired at all. I thought they were going to sit on this and make it, like people forget about it. The guy that was involved with it, he got fired a long time. I knew he was going to get canned. So that was definitely automatic.
That was the Charlie Dixon guy, right?
Yeah, pause.
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah, that was him. Wait until you hear Whitlock's response. But let's start with Stephen A.
reasons that you might not be hearing anything from her, nor Skip Bayless or anybody else, because they can turn around and sue, and they got their. I mean,
Also, do you know who this woman is?
That's she appears on his podcast from time to time. I
Okay.
forget her name.
Okay, she's a regular. She must have forgot about her green screen, but
I mean, think about the allegations that have been thrown out against them. Think about the need that they may feel to retaliate, and as a result of that, I think that is even further requirement for people to be careful. But let me tell you why I wanted you on here, Tori, because I have to admit I'm pretty pissed off. Now there's a few people's names I'm not going to mention because damn it, they ain't worth it. Okay, and I get that. But there's a few men out there that are acting like this is the perfect excuse to justify why we make the argument that women don't belong in the industry,
this nigga.
which is an incredibly egregious thing to say. Okay, they'll look at any woman sitting in a host chair, or any woman that's a reporter out there, or any woman that has
He's
to
right,
work in the
host
locker room,
chair.
and all of a sudden their credibility is being questioned. My thing, what I'm more appalled at by rather even that, is the women all over social media that are allowing it. Most egregious, Tori, is the abundance of women out there who are laughing, who are pointing the finger at Joy Taylor with a profound level of guilt as if they know. Even when they throw in the word allegedly, they do it with smirks on their face, sort of dismissive, because in this business, we know how to speak with our body language, not just with words. And not only that, they're using it as an excuse to question her credibility. Now, I don't know what happened, but let me tell you what I do know. I know that I've seen Joy Taylor on TV a lot over the years.
Have you noticed in this video that most of the pictures Joy is covered up, and they had
He
the
did that on
swimsuit.
purpose.
Yeah, and they had the
He
swimsuit,
did
but
that
they
on
make sure
purpose.
not to
We know
pan
we know
down.
how she portrays herself. We know
Yeah,
exactly how she portrays herself.
that was a bit interesting. I think that was it of the first part of the clip. You want me to play the second
Yeah,
part of it?
yeah. Play with Locks from Spies because I know that's going to be interesting.
Well, before I do, Stephen A is doing the same thing that Shaq was doing. You mentioned it earlier, so I didn't. This is my first time seeing this clip though, but yeah, there's a huge simp problem when it comes to sports. These men go out of their way to elevate a lot of these women, and I'm not saying some of these women cannot hang with them, but you guys are elevating. Like, if you're going to elevate somebody, and dare I say it, you might as well put Jamel Hill back on there. At least Jamel Hill, she might say some crazy stuff, but she does know sports. And she does go viral for a lot of non-sports related. Like, if she's not being political, Jamel Hill all day. When she's being political, different conversation though. But when it comes to, like, the Molly Karam and Joy Taylor, you cannot tell me that these women know sports to the level that a lot of these men do. Like, they're not journalists. They're not sports. I mean, they're sportscasters, but they're not journalists. They didn't cut their teeth trying to get the big stories and having these in-depth conversations with a lot of these athletes. Like, they didn't go in those locker rooms. They look good, they fit a role, and they got hired. And yeah, they've elevated themselves. Molly Karam has elevated herself, and we know why Joy Taylor has elevated herself to the role that she's in. But Stephen A. Smith, like, this is on a rival network. What you care for?
Because he's trying to. This is on his non-ESPN affiliated podcast. For one, he wants those clicks and those views.
No, I get all that though. I mean,
here's what kills me about Stephen A. Smith. He went out of his way to have former WNBA players come on First Take and discuss the WNBA. And I don't know if you remember this, TR, but they essentially came in there with the same talking points. You're not doing enough. Men aren't doing enough for the sport.
Oh yeah,
we're underpaid. We're the victims. In essence, they kind of went at Stephen A. Smith a little bit. In the way that
he got smoked for that.
Yeah, like he bought them in on the alley-oop, and that was how they repaid him. So I suspect Stephen A. is doing this. And I'm just going to say it. This is the Black Phoenix podcast. If you can piss off a woman and inspire her to click, subscribe, and follow you, that's low-hanging fruit in the podcast space. He's going to say exactly what he needs to say to make y'all think that everybody is misogynistic and hateful to get those subs and those followers. And for him, it worked. So I can't argue with the results, but I can argue with the intention of it.
Yeah, for real. That looks like the next segment is 217.
Yep. While you getting that ready, I'll just say this. Joy Taylor has 800,000 followers. She'll be fine. She'll do a podcast, and all these people that want to see the girls out, they'll come check her out. There'll be a few people that actually care what her takes are. She'll do something independent. She'll be fine.
This is what I mean when I say these people are installed and they're idiots and they're there to distract you.
Yeah.
And like, how dare I question the credibility of Joy Taylor? Stephen A., I've questioned your credibility in the strongest way possible. To sit here and to pretend like, oh, I've only questioned Joy Taylor or women. Are you kidding me? I've questioned the entire industry.
Right.
That this is all a rigged up system to promote idiocy and to promote willful ignorance. And so that people are in denial of the facts and the truth. And so, yeah, if you're going to have a Stephen A. Smith, you got to have the Joy Taylors of the world. You have to take something, sports that have been dominated by men, conversations about sports which have been dominated by men, and you have to inject feminism into that conversation so that men like Stephen A. Smith will talk like women. And he does that regularly. And I've pointed it out that this is the problem with all of these guys. They get around a woman, and the next thing you know, they start pandering.
Yeah.
And if it's an attractive woman, oh my God, there's no limit to what they won't say. And so Stephen A. Smith, upset with me, can't really talk about it because he's scared of me. I get it, but I'm trying to. He. This is how uninformed Stephen A. Smith is, because at one point, I think in one of these clips, he mentioned something about, and we got to make sure that that's part of the clip. We got to. I'm trying. He mentioned something about Joy Taylor and Taylor Rooks doing a podcast together and how great it is. And I'm just like,
they messed up on that.
So uninformed. And again, if you're going to.
All right. And just for everyone knows, Taylor Rooks has not been on that podcast for Joy for what, almost 2 years? At least for a year and a half. So I can see why. I mean, Stephen A gets a lot of his information. I mean, a lot of these these personalities, they're scripted. They have just like Jason Whitlock said, they're installed. They're like bots. They have a whole script team. They got a whole director and everything, telling them how they need to talk, how they need to present themselves, how they need to be. They're not real people. Like, you see us fumbling through stuff. We're real people, and we're trying to put it all together. Stephen A has definitely built himself a nice little platform. I shouldn't say that's disrespectful. A big platform, especially when he just jumped in there a couple of years ago, and so he's elevated the platforms. He's a hard worker. Nobody's saying that he's not, and he definitely, I appreciate his sports conversations. But when it comes to politics and definitely pop culture stuff, Stephen A is way off, though. It's always slanted towards how the mob is feeling. Or agenda groups, I should say.
TR, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Two things that I've said before and I'll say it again. Number one.
Muted.
Oh. Am I on mute? Can you hear me now?
You there?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Nope. Can't hear you. Yep.
What the hell?
MC might be checking out, gang.
Man, all right. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Still can't hear you. You're gonna come back in.
Yeah, I'll come back in.
Leave and come back. All right. So, anyways, like I was saying, Stephen A is just one of those folks that he's paid the talk, which is a great gig, but you can't take him serious. You can't take some of the things that Stephen A is, especially when it comes to politics. Stephen A has the ability to get access to a lot of Republicans and conservatives. Yep. I was just saying. Stephen A has the ability to get access to a lot of Republicans and conservatives, but
that's what I was just saying, TR. I think I was going to make 2 quick points.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stephen A is setting himself up for something political. We can see based by he's been talking to the Sean Hannitys. He just had a sit down with Bill O'Reilly. He's doing that on the other side with CNN, MSNBC. He's setting himself up for something political.
Yeah.
But also, what I was going to say, I never thought I would agree with Jason Whitlock as much as I have been lately. But one thing that I'm starting to notice, Jason Whitlock attacks arguments.
Yeah.
But I know him and Stephen A. Smith, they hate each other so much. If you watch the rest of that clip, TR, he does start to do a couple of personal jabs at Stephen A. But Stephen A. has done the same too. But we had a previous conversation about women in sports and how it impacts people. And I say this all the time: when you bring a woman into the room, it changes the energy of men, because they start code switching. They're not being themselves. They're walking on eggshells, and they start to pander. So what happens is, you have to, if you're going to bring a woman in, she has to know what she's talking about, and she has to have the understanding that I am not going to change who I am just because you're here. Because that's going to weaken your takes, and it's going to weaken the product that you're putting out to your listeners. There are lots of women, like there's a woman named Trista Crick. She works with Mason Cam. I noticed when she goes on that show, they don't switch up at all. They still talking about getting sloppy toppy, chicks that they busted down back in the day. They don't switch nothing up. But when you have people like a Joy Taylor who walks in and joins a panel, or even certain names at ESPN that I won't get into right now, it changes the conversation and the energy, and it's no longer authentic. That's the problem. And that's what Jason Whitlock was saying.
Yeah. And Jason Whitlock, for the most part, and before I start, a lot of times we got to try to find content. And so Jason Whitlock actually does have a lot of good takes. When he starts talking about Stephen A, I'm like, all right, you're doing too much Whitlock. We can hear the personal jabs in his arguments, but he ain't, like, again, it's one of those things. He ain't always right, but he ain't always wrong either. And so Jason Whitlock, I mean, he should have a bigger platform, but because of the animosity that people have towards him, he doesn't. I mean, I'm sure he's doing pretty good on his own platform, but I mean, he got fired from Fox Sports, and I don't know if he was ever at ESPN. Well, he had to be because him and Stephen A have gotten into it. I believe. I don't know. Someone
They
will
used
fact
to
check
work.
me.
They used to work together at ESPN.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought. But yeah, unfortunately for a lot of these, these personalities, they're doing things. They do things that end up, by that compromise their show, such as like First Take. And everybody was loving First Take when Skip was on there. Skip left, the dynamic changed, and so they pushed Molly Karam up. They brought in all these hosts, and then it was, hey, we're going to bring Shannon over here. This is great opportunity, and that's actually kind of blown up in their faces. So there's a lot of things that they're trying to do, but they've compromised themselves, which is why they might have the most ratings for their time slot when it comes to sports, but no one's generally going there for sports, unfortunately. They've been losing people. They'll go to, I mean, they'll probably just go to Pat McAfee, or some other sports takes. Like when it comes to sports, there's really only a couple places that I listen to sports, and ESPN. I mean, I listen to more Stephen A when it comes to non-sports stuff though. But when it comes, like, if I do listen to politics, it's a very small amount, and that depends on the guests he has. Because when he had Candace on his show, he didn't know what he was asking Candace. It's almost like he fed his questions in the chat GPT to say like, hey, give me 5 baseline questions to ask Candace, and then like she'll carry the interview, which Candace is an amazing interviewer, or interviewee. And so it's unfortunate that Stephen A can't really get to that next level when it comes to talking about politics and current events though. But this was some major simping. He didn't even need to simp out though either too. But this is why I have a problem when it comes to, like, I mean, we have daughters, MC. I've come to realization that a majority of men out there are like just weak simp, beta, white knighting, because there's some, even with the Joy Taylor, like, we're talking about from people that are like, most people are probably like, yeah, this is probably a good thing, and she's a POS, blah blah, which I agree with. But there are still a lot of men out there that are still supporting Joy Taylor. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? She said she's gonna me too. She was going to me too a guy if he didn't, or she was going to me too her way to the top. Like last time I checked, men hate stuff like that, and women, you would think there'd be more voices from women from all walks of life. And I imagine most of those conversations are coming from women just on social media posts. But when a man messes up, when a man of like, say, Diddy, we saw everyone come out of the woodworks to denounce Diddy and say this is a farce, and in the verdict results in that trial. But for Joy Taylor, it's just crickets for the most part. No big voices have come out and said, hey, yeah, Joy Taylor fucked up for that. Messed up.
Here's Joy Taylor in a nutshell. We have a mutual friend that we both know, TR, and I had this conversation with him.
Oh yeah, I already know it's going.
I played the clip of our last conversation because remember, we shared news articles. Everything we said about Joy, we substantiated.
Yeah.
His response was, "She's still fine though." So that tells me that you skipped over everything that I just said, including using Me Too to get a fake advantage over your peers. And you skipped over all of that just because she's attractive. And those are the types of men who have the loudest voices right now. And that's the problem.
I got one better for you, Meg Thee Stallion. I saw a clip of people saying like, yeah, you still got to make her work with Meg. I'm like, the fuck? She put homie in the prison system he lost 10 years of life messing with Meg. Tory Lanez?
Yeah.
But hey, do what you guys do. You ain't got no discipline. This is why the prisons and the cemeteries are never gonna go broke. I mean, they can't go broke, but the cemeteries can't go broke because people are always dying. But the prisons, yeah, they never go on broke. Invest in prisons because y'all do stupid stuff for women all the damn time.
Yep. And I can't tell you how many men that I've seen let a woman just wildly disrespect him just because she was attractive.
Yeah.
It's actually sickening to see. Like it really is. But that's your life. It's better you than me. And I'm not that guy.
Hey, facts. So, all right, that is going to wrap up tonight's show. We'll be taking a brief break next week, and then should be back at it. We might be at a different time, but we'll get that figured out on the back end. Pause. MC.
No, that's it for me. This is another good one in the books, man. Y'all keep being great out here. Stay cool this summer.
All right, we out. See you.
Peace.